From what's Old Man G here, back again. Say around there. Old Man G here, back again. Red Devil Studio live, and I'm again joined by Shawnee, and
Team Chicago.
And we have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Ollie. We're going to talk about Fraudiola. We're going to talk about Chelsea, Spurs, Champions League, Arsenal misery, and also the gameweek 17 upcoming fixtures. So there is, we've got a big show for tonight. Hopefully we can get a lot of you guys involved in a discussion, and we can really have another good podcast. So hopefully a lot of you guys tuned in. If you aren't going to tune in, please like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter at WeUnitedX. Check out our Discord community as well as these episodes on iTunes and Spotify. And if you're generous, if you love to support us on Patreon, that would be greatly appreciated. So let's begin, shall we? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the Don now apparently. There were a lot of people who, quite rightly, given the fact that Solskjaer drew against, Sheffield United and Aston Villa, though we did score obviously 3 goals against Sheffield United. I think 2 goals against Villa as well. So we're scoring the goals, but I think a lot of people felt that it was over. And yet in this 1 week, Ollie beats Spurs, and then he goes off and actually beats Pep Guardiola, Manchester City, at the Etihad. So, what does this mean? I'll give my thoughts at the end, but I'm just interested on the non-United fan perspective. Certainly as a Liverpool fan, Shawnee, what are your thoughts on Solskjaer? Success.
Yeah, well, I was saying, before I get to the success part, I was saying, not in the previous podcast, but I think the podcast before that, as a man-to-man, I think it hurts if you get sacked so early, without being able to implement anything that you wanted. And I'm not just talking about players coming in, but it takes a while to get your system drilled into the team. Coming from the system that Man United had prior compared to what Ollie's trying to implement there. It takes a little while. And I was just saying that, it's maybe a little soon. And even though, it might have come as like cold words coming from a Liverpool fan, I legitimately meant that it must be really terrifying for somebody to go into a club without, just like going, right, if you make a mistake or if you make, a whole bunch of errors, then that's it, you're gone. So I'm glad that they did keep hold of him, because I remember a couple of podcasts ago it was all about, shall we get rid of Ollie before we get to the Man City game? So hopefully that will just prove to people a little bit that you got to stick with people, because Ollie's passionate about Man United, and he can get the players. That will seep into the players. And you can tell that it's a different Man United just over the last couple of games. The Man City game was absolutely fantastic. Man United played brilliantly. Just a real drive, a real passion, and they wanted to win. And there wasn't a period of the game where I thought City were better. They were just absolutely. They must have watched a replay of the Liverpool City game over and over and over again, because that's kind of how they played. They just kept City at bay. They didn't give City an inch. Exactly what Liverpool did when we played them. So no, I'm glad they kept Ollie, and I think they should at least give Ollie to the end of the season, if not more. I would personally say, look, we're going to back you through the summer. And we're going to give you a whole bunch of money so you can get the players you want, then get your style going as well, and then the season after, we'll have an assessment.
Fair enough. Just quick thing. Shout out to Footy Live. Thank you for joining us in the chat. Footy Live comment says, Solskjaer is like what Klopp was doing at the start of Liverpool, buying the right players and beating the bigger teams, but can't beat the lesser teams. And look where Liverpool were when Klopp charged. That is a fair point. And I do remember in Klopp's first season and a half, even though he obviously got them to the Europa League final, that Liverpool were dealing with the bigger teams, they were going guns blazing.
They finished sixth.
They finished sixth, but they were always dropping points, drawing against the smaller teams. That's what we're doing. So you've got a point, So, I think the key thing with Solskjaer, from my point of view, is that it's just a question of figuring out what the plan is. With Klopp, you kind of knew the type of football he was playing. With Solskjaer, it's been very difficult to see what is the style of football he wants to play. Is it purely counter-attack? Is it defensive? Is it that we have a fitness issue? It's difficult. And certainly in the first 3 months, you had an idea. But since then, it's been kind of like, is this just basically just a worse version of Mourinho, basically? And that's the frustrating thing. Team Takage, as someone whose team is also struggling, and what do you have to say about Solskjaer?
I think I remember Firmino Shoni.
Yeah, anyone? Yeah.
Saying, I think there were some comments in the live stream last time, because some people were saying Ollie in, some people were saying Ollie out, and Firmino was kind of just like, well, who are you gonna get? Like, this whole like sacking culture. It takes a while for managers to settle in and establish their tactics. You could kind of see with Emery, they give him a full season, bottled the Europa League final, bottled top 4 when we were third for like ages, and then finished 5th. And like you couldn't really see any improvements like in the league. Even the Europa League, we were losing games and drawing games and whatever. So like if you were kind of like playing good football and losing or drawing, it wouldn't really be that bad, because that's kind of what was happening with Wenger. But it was kind of but it was kind of. By the way, we're watching the Arsenal game.
The
in a
Arsenal
minute.
game's in the background, and Arsenal have just conceded to, is it Mikel Antonio, was it?
Ogbonna.
VAR is coming in here for sure.
Go on, Team Takage.
Yeah.
If you
But yeah, I mean, obviously, Man United, you can kind of see glimpses of like why they, for me, Ollie should stay.
Yeah, that's a foul, isn't it? No?
They did well, they knocked out PSG, things like that. They play really good against the top teams. It's just small adjustments. And also a transfer window will probably do them some good.
Fully live, yes. 1-0 to West Ham. Yes, we have it in the background. Team Takage is very much aware of the score line, unfortunately. But yeah, all I've got is praise for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because he's stuck with his game plan. He's stuck with what checking VAR. Is it handball?
Yeah. That's what I was
checking the VAR for the goal.
I was just saying that just then, like that's VAR for sure. Because first of all, it looked like a foul afterwards.
I don't think that's handball.
It's shoulder, in it. Shoulder.
Oh, I don't know. That would be very harsh. We're looking at the game, guys. Oh, yeah, we're talking about Solskjaer, and I think that'd be harsh for handball.
Well, at the moment, any handball.
But I've seen, but the consistency. This is the thing with the consistency is that is that I've seen goal. I don't know which one was the alley one where it was the top of the shoulder and that was fine. Yeah. So, but it was scored.
They need to give it then.
I know. I think they might not give it actually.
I don't think they will.
Is it going to rule it out?
Because that's unnatural position.
Yeah.
You can't go like this.
Not
unless you're Maradona.
Yeah. They're still checking it, man. Interesting. Sorry, when your comments. The goal stands, it seems. Yep, the goal stands. The goal stands. Pretty live. I've heard reports that Napoli are reducing the price on Koulibaly to 60 million. Would any of you guys have him at Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United? That's the first question. A question.
You guys would have it.
Everyone would have it. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Imagine Van Dijk and Koulibaly.
I mean, that's just like, I mean.
That'll be unfair.
I mean, if we're looking at if you're asking the question pretty live in terms of the team that's desperate to have him, I think that Arsenal probably out of all the teams are the ones that desperately need that type of player.
What? Actually, just quickly Google what are his wages Like, because that's just like seems to be like a massive factor nowadays.
But 60. Oh man, West Ham again. 60 million for Koulibaly is just like,
60 million is a bargain.
especially considering Napoli were previously flogging him for 100 million. And
what sources is that?
Yeah, what's your source for the live? Just who's supporting this? It makes sense because of the issue with Napoli and the manager, and not the manager but the board. But yeah, let me know. Don Ragnar, good to see you in your chat as well. Good to see you stopping by. What's happening, G? I'm just hitting my calisthenics workout while overlooking Old Trafford, same for my gym. Fair play, man. Go hard, man. Go hard or go home, as they say, man. No, but thanks for tuning in, man. Really appreciate it. We've just started our podcast now, whilst also watching the Arsenal game. Arsenal need a manager ASAP, but I think Freddie will get till the end of the season. Fair enough. And Koulibaly's wage is 100,000.
That's good.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah.
Just fair enough.
I'll take him.
Just fair enough. I think anyone would.
Fly him in.
Yeah.
No medical contract.
If he's available in January, so then go for it. So, but I'll just finish this segment with against Ollie. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. I certainly think the wins against Tottenham and United have given Ole Gunnar Solskjaer time. And we will talk more about this on 100% a Manchester United podcast, which we're hopefully doing from this week or next week. But as Shawnee and as Team Chicago have sort of said, he needs some backing in the January transfer window, and we just need to make sure that we have that consistency. It's all
both windows, in my opinion. Not just tell them you've got this window. You've got a couple of windows, and you've got to the end of not this season but next season. To get things moving in the correct in the direction that you've told us it's going to move into. And then at the end of it, then you can say, look, listen, it didn't work out. We're sorry. I think that will be fair. If you said to him, you've only got January, and then at the end of the season, that's it. I think that's just too much pressure. I think.
He's got a lot of outs as well. So you've got the FA Cup. Unlucky. You've got the FA Cup. Which is Man United have won that a few times. Just behind Arsenal, I think, in wins in that. You've got League Cup. You're still in that. Obviously Europa League. You've got a good chance, to be honest, because I don't see Arsenal getting to the final. Wolves might, but I don't see Arsenal getting to the final. And top four is up for grabs. So he's got a lot of outs compared to last season. Last season it was just, he was just filling in, and anything, it was just kind of going with the flow, and he got some really good results, so they kept him. But this season, I think he's actually in a better position almost. Like I said, you've got 4 outs there. And I could actually see Man United winning one of those. The 3 trophies available, or the top 4 spots, kind of a trophy really in itself these days. Yeah. Arsenal, people used to banter Arsenal for calling top 4 a trophy. Yeah. But now top 4 is.
Well, now because Liverpool and City have had so much dominance for the last maybe 3 years or so, so that they've been almost so far ahead of everybody else, that top 4 almost is a trophy, because Arsenal and Liverpool are so far behind, even challenging for the Premier League, let alone the Champions League. It looks like West Ham are starting to cause Arsenal a few problems, but we'll speak about Arsenal second. But let's park this segment for Solskjaer for 1 minute and move on to Pep Guardiola, or as a lot of people calling him Pep Fraudiola. The Fraudiola. Because Manchester City, they've lost to what has been described as one of the worst United sides in the last decade. They've lost to.
So did Tottenham, though.
They did. That's true. That is true. I agree.
And Liverpool drew against them.
But unfortunately, City also lost to relegation for the Norwich, and they lost to Wolves at home at the Etihad, and they also dropped points against Newcastle. So the teams that they're losing against are not stellar teams. They're teams that our City is. I mean, here's the question, and I'll post it in the comments, especially you, Footy Live, and everyone else watching: is Pep Guardiola a fraud. Sure.
I don't know. Like he shouldn't be losing the games that he's losing. At the same time, he did win the Premiership with the same team last season. So it's not like that he's I think it would be a fraud if he wasn't winning stuff, but he's winning stuff, you know, and he's still competing. He's doing well in the Champions League as well still. You know, he's grinding up results there. And he is still City are still in all the cups as well. A run of bad form, definitely a run of bad form. Since Liverpool battered them, by the way. I think it was Liverpool that sort of initiated the City can bleed. I think it's just been it might have even inspired Man United to do so well against them. So I don't think he's a fraud personally. I think he's a good manager. Would you have Pep at Arsenal?
I don't really go to Arsenal, so that's it. He likes clubs where he can just, do you know what I mean? He can just demand
just
this. Yeah, well, yeah, and just demand. So he was at Barcelona. He's got all the money in the world he wants. He's got Messi. He doesn't even need anyone. And well, to be fair with Messi, like someone like Pep is like perfect for Messi, like the style of football and stuff like that. He was at Bayern, money there too. You can do what you want there. City, another club. Yeah, he wants big spenders. Arsenal's not the right club. They probably would give him money but he just wouldn't go. Like he wants already established, you know.
Mourinho does similar things though. I mean, he gets to a club and he spends like 100 million as soon as he gets to the club. I don't know where he's gonna. At Tottenham, I don't know if the team, if he's gonna take a look at the team first, or if he's gonna, you know, straight away at the end of the season just cash in on the players that he doesn't want.
I think he'll definitely get a new left back. I don't think he likes Danny Rose. Well, Danny Rose is running his contract out anyway. So.
Yeah. But in terms of him being a fraud, though,
nah, he's won too much to be a fraud.
Well, let me. Okay, but let me counter. I break the counter-acting point. Before I go into the counter point, I'll read. Okay, so Footy Live. So United need to play the best team to get to final Europa League, and it depends who gets out Champions League to see if we can win it. Fair enough. That's reasonable. Pep is a genius. He's been found out on his tactics. Okay. Don Ragnar, people too quick to write off Pep. All the great managers have had their dud phases. Key is how they reinvent. That is very true. What I would say about Pep Guardiola is that, unlike his Zidane's, unlike even Mourinho's, unlike Sir Alex Ferguson, unlike all these teams, is that as Team Takage said, Pep in most of his squads has been given an open checkbook. Okay, an open. He's not been at a team that has, unlike, say, Klopp, who you can see has transformed the Liverpool side, it was like mid-table-ish, to a Champions League winning side. Pep has always inherited good teams. He inherited a team of Barcelona with Messi. He inherited the Bayern Munich team in their peak, where Germany were producing really good footballers. And he inherited a Man City side with Kevin De Bruyne, Raheem Sterling, Prime Aguero, Prime David Silva, Prime Company, and so on. So he's not, and then he's been given a blank open checkbook on top of that. And when you consider that, despite the fact he's been given all of those resources, certainly for City, he was able to win the Champions League last time with Barcelona with Messi. Yeah. Who wouldn't be able to win a Champions League with Messi?
Emery.
Well, okay, yeah. Emery's, but
that was a joke.
Emery's a fraud, but that's Emery's much more of a fraud. But the point I'm trying to make is that, like, without Messi, he's been given. There was a statement, and I'll read it because I'm on the BBC website, and this is where it comes from. Pep Guardiola says, and this is on the BBC News website. He says, "We have to improve and accept it and move forward," said Guardiola. Brackets, Manchester United have the quality to defend and the quality to attack on the counter-attack, and you have to accept that. That is the level we face against Liverpool, against Manchester United, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus. They are the teams we have to face, and the reality is maybe we are not able now to compete with them.
Able now to compete?
We are not able now to compete. Maybe we need to live that as a club to improve, to accept the reality now and improve. I mean, come on, my guy.
You got to the semi-final of the Champions League.
No, he didn't. Not with City. He's never been to the semi-final Champions League with City.
Was that Liverpool? Or was that quarters?
Quarters.
Oh, yeah.
Pellegrini got City to the semi-finals. I mean, I read that and I'm like, mate, you put United and you can't compete with Manchester United with a squad that has Fred in a midfield and Lingard as a number 10. And you're saying you can't compete with the likes of Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, Raheem Sterling. Come on. And with one of the best goals, and Edison. Come on. Nah. Come on. No. Sorry.
Maybe that's his call to buy Messi with that blank checkbook.
Just quickly reading some of the comments. Chris McTeague. Hi, folks, man. Good to see you, Chris. Always. Feel like Josie at the wheel wasn't like that on Thursday. It wasn't. Steve McLaren is a fraud. If Steve McLaren is... does anyone remember The Simpsons, like Krusty the Clown?
Yeah.
That's sort of Steve McLaren in managerial sort. It's like Krusty the Clown, City will just go out off the UCL now. Well, we'll talk about the UCL in a second. We review our predictions as it comes to group stage. But Team Takagi, do you have anything else to say about Pep before we move on?
No.
No? You don't think he's a fraud? No one thinks he's a fraud here.
Yeah, no.
Okay, except me. So
I think I understand what you're saying there. It's just that it still requires a good amount of effort.
City can't compete. City can't compete with United.
No.
That's what you're saying. City can't compete with United.
I think from that statement. Oh, sorry.
Go on.
I was just going to say from that statement that he was saying there, it might just be him teasing his team to like say, look, what the recent form hasn't been good enough. I don't know if he subliminally in that statement meant that he was basically saying that his form wasn't good enough and they're not competing at that kind of level. Rather than that the team isn't good enough. Like, because who you gonna buy to replace De Bruyne or Sterling or Bernardo Silva? I mean, there's no one really out there. I mean. You think that? I mean, at the moment, I wouldn't swap Fabinho for the world, but if I did, I'd get Bernardo Silva in his place. You
would question some of the transfers over the summer, though. Obviously, Old Manji always talks about company not being replaced. And that's it, isn't it? Like he was a leader. Yeah. Obviously, Fernandinho.
Could Koulibaly replace company?
I hope not, because that would be the end of everything as we know it.
Yeah. Well, him going to Liverpool will be the end of everything as we know it. So
Maldini and Nesta reincarnated. Questionable. Obviously, Laporte is good, but who's next to him? He's not a leader. Like, you look at company leader, Van Dijk leader, Koulibaly leader, all these centre backs. Your Rio Ferdinand, things like that. There was always one leader in the defence in all these great teams. And City's was company at the end of the day. As much as you want to talk about Aguero, as great as Aguero is, he's not a leader at the end of the day. So that's what they're missing more than anything.
Fine. Just reading some of the comments again. Pretty live, guys. The topic to talk about. Why don't you talk about the racist abuse that Fred got at City? Yeah, we'll come into before we move on, we'll talk about that actually. Thanks. I did put in a previous video about it in the post-match reaction, but yeah, we'll talk about it.
So that's fresh to me. I haven't even heard about this.
Chris Mateague, City a year ago had a great chance to win Champions League. This year their defense is woeful. Pep will leave City in the future. Maybe he might. That's interesting. Will he leave? And where to? Because he can't go to the Bundesliga. I mean, maybe they might have him at Barcelona again if Valverde, who also is probably... Well, I think Valverde is even a worse fraud than Steve McLaren, to be honest. So, Valverde is an absolute fraud. Remember last week we talked about academies. So you have the top tier academies, which is where you have your Hall of Fame, and you have the banter academies, banter tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Valverde is right now inducted into tier 3 banter academy. Tier 1 is like ultimate banter. So right now Valverde is right now in tier 3. But depending on how Barcelona do, he might get out and back into the Hall of Fame. Upper academy tier 3 at least. So, and just reading, so Footy Live, so we'll cover Liverpool. Don Ragnar, I felt bad for Fred. I didn't see any one of our players. We'd go over and see if it was all right, apart from some super in the back.
Maybe they didn't know
what happened. Yeah, it was only really after the game that I really clocked on as to what happened, to be honest. Footy Live says Pep to Juve. Where was a Cantona kung fu kick when you need one? Says Don Ragnar. Absolutely. Yep. I think the public are a bit too protected. To be honest, I've always said this with any sort of racist abuse or any abuse the player gets. Like, just kung fu kick, Cantona style, problem solved.
Yeah.
You know, that's my sort of thing. Like, if it verbally comes out, you know, then you should be able to take it. You know, so, and like, Cantona just come and say anything against your mum, say anything against something, go out, kung fu kick, that's it. Boom.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
it. You know.
If that was so has it come out what the guy said? Or?
So from what I can see, the issue seems to be that, like, according to the footage seems to show that first of all he was hit with something.
Right.
So missiles were thrown at him, and then what appears to be a sort of a monkey chant. Although there's also this as underlying.
What, from the crowd or
from this individual?
Oh, one person. Yeah.
But then.
It's
It's clear. It's unclear whether it's a monkey chant or whether it's like a plane. Because I think some people saying that they were having plane sounds if to make fun of the Munich tragedy.
Oh,
you know. So,
I mean, either
so
way,
either or, you know.
Like,
So it's bad, you know. So
it's like
no.
There's no
Yeah.
level to evil.
Yeah.
prison time deal.
Yeah. So you know.
Munich.
That's terrible.
So it's
And a 14-year-old as well, apparently. Like,
was it a 14-year-old? Was it? Someone said it was a fireman or something. Rasmus, hey, good to see you, man. Good to see you in the chat, man. Shout out to Rasmus. Shout out to Rasmus. And like the vid, guys. Like the vid. Rasmus says Fraudiola. Yeah, he agrees with me. Fraudiola.
Yeah.
Chris Matique, there were multiple fans throwing missiles. Okay, fine. You know, this is the thing about City fans.
There was a group.
I think there were a group of them that throw missiles, but one or two individuals that did the chants.
Yeah.
True.
But even throwing missiles is already bannable offence anyway, because you should be throwing things at
exactly. Yeah.
you know, let alone the abuse. I mean, you know, City.
Yeah.
Come on, City fans.
I mean, the thing is with the throwing stuff. I mean, we've put up with that for years and years and years now. I remember like stuff being thrown when I was a kid, and I was like saying to my dad like what they throwing. So it's never really ever been dealt with. Even though they like say, you know, they sort of shake their fingers and they say don't throw stuff. You know, but they can't really. There's nothing really. But in terms of actually hurting someone emotionally with a chant like that, it doesn't really matter whether it was, you know, that's disgusting if it was referring to the Munich incident equally as if it was disgusting if it was, you know, racism. But it's just one of them things where if it's a group of kids, make an example of them. Just like say, look, you're out. You're banned for life. You're not coming back in. It's just there's just no room for it. But it's just difficult because obviously it's figuring out what actually happened. Was it referring to the Munich thing, or was it just them throwing stuff?
I think
or
they're
what
investigating, and to be fair, City made a good statement outside that really condemned everything that was going on, which was really good from the whole thing of zero tolerance and everything. And then at the end of the day, these days, because there's so many cameras everywhere and stuff, like you just have to be, you know, very careful. I don't necessarily think that racism itself is getting worse. I just think that because there's social media, there's cameras, you can record it now. So like it was probably a lot worse 10 years ago, but you couldn't record it. Now you can easily record anyone doing anything. So that video was recorded by some fan and then uploaded it, and so you can't hide is the point they're trying to make. You know, so I just think that at the end of the day, it's a game of football, and ultimately, you know, I'm going to say this out right now. To be honest, Sterling is the one that's been hashtagging racism. So I didn't hear Sterling say anything after this game. So I'm just saying, you know, so you're the one that's all this hashtag racism, all this stuff like that. England, like you lost the game. And your fans are being raised. Where were your words? Where were your words? You're the poster boy for racism, Sterling.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. I didn't hear much from Sterling at the end of the game. So
unless there really wasn't anything unless it was something to do with just the Munich disaster or something. I don't know. But either which way, it's both disgusting, isn't it? Really.
And Rasmus A says, Torungus, have you heard the 13-year-old Burnley supporter who racially abused Son? Maybe that's what motivates him to score that goal. Yeah. So, you're cussing me because I'm from Korea, right? Let's go on this run. Sit down. So you shouldn't have to prove yourself or anything like that. Those fun. But sometimes when you see like such quality, and we're gonna get to talk about Son actually. Let's park this discussion and just move on because we still have a lot to talk about. So bring it down. Was that as well?
Just a clip of
yeah.
Fred.
Yeah, just. I mean, from what if I can just take the mic for a second.
Yeah,
so like
back first.
So just having a look at this clip there. So he was over in the corner. The thing is that he was over in the corner, and it's the normal effing and blinding and derogative terminology. He did get thrown. He did get hit for something. He looks like he was actually quite hurt by it. But it just looks like the normal kind of derogative. Sterling was standing right there. He was standing, no joke, probably 5 meters away from Fred.
And he
didn't. He's just got his hands on his hips. He didn't.
Mahrez and Bernardo Silva went over it and saw if he was all right. Fred, Sterling just kind of
stood there. Yeah, I don't think.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's all I'm saying. Raheem. I'm just saying. Where were you? That's when you're losing, it's okay to say it when you're winning and you're doing well, but when you're losing, you can't just switch morality. You can't be like, okay, I'll make a stand when we're winning games. When you're losing games, you still have to have that. Otherwise, you're flip-flop. Just reading some of his comments. Yeah, Chris Monty heard that, ban the kid for life. Rasmus A, well, maybe it is not getting worse. Maybe some people are keeping quiet and not showing their feelings and thoughts. But with the rise of people like Trump, they're feeling it's okay to express them. Okay, fair enough. Don Ragnar, the racists want Brexit FC teams comprised of 11 Mark Nobles minus passion merchants. This guy just says it says a lot. Fair play, Don Ragnar. Right, okay, let's move on. Let's talk about Liverpool right now. And obviously this is itching for Shawnee to come in and have his say because have Liverpool essentially won the title now? Because after United obviously beating City at home, they're 14 points clear of City. Leicester still in the 8 points behind, and that's we shouldn't discount Leicester. And maybe I should have put Leicester in this conversation, but there's not enough time. But is it over? Is it over, Shawnee? Do you feel confident that Liverpool got this?
I mean, I feel more confident now, like after the last couple of weeks, because we're still winning. Not particularly playing that well. Even the Everton game, it was sort of there was a couple of really tense moments. When we started running away with the league, with both the league and the lead, it became a lot more comfortable. But I don't know. Like it would still be nice to have kept the clean sheet like we did last week. So like the standout game there was the Everton game, I think. Obviously, when we kept the clean sheet against Brighton, was Bournemouth. Sorry, yeah, it's on the same coast. They're right next to each other.
Anyway.
Yeah,
They can't beat me, I don't think.
That's what we've been needing, that clean sheet for a long time. And it's just nice to like say, look, we can keep a clean sheet. Let's keep that up. I just don't know.
Really.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Last thing we wanted to give confidence to Liverpool, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the last thing we wanted to give them because now they're just all right.
All right, we can
keep clean sheets again. let's do this again.
Let's try that.
That's what it feels like though with Liverpool. It's like they can just turn it on and off whenever they want.
Yeah.
It's like a few games this season. You'd think. Like Villa, I think you were losing that game 1-0.
1-0, yeah.
And then last minute in that game, Leicester last minute.
I don't even know if it was last minute. I think it was like 95th minute or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was like beyond Fergie time.
Fergie time.
Yeah.
Fergie time. Wow.
But yeah. I don't know, like I'm skeptic in saying I'd like to just like say that it's going to be tough for anyone to catch us now. But at the same time, I'd just like to I just like to keep a cool head and just like exactly what Klopp would say, like game at a time. You know, if you start saying to the players, like, oh, that's it now, like this is the lead that we want, it's easy to get complacent.
Yeah.
So how do you get a team motivated? I mean, I'm sort of at the moment the way things.
How to get Liverpool motivated, but he must be doing something because, like, you know, they won the Champions League final, and they've just kept on winning, you know, since then. You know, like there's nothing to suggest that Liverpool, you know, and we'll go to talk about this in the Champions League preview, that Liverpool can't win the Champions League again. You know, especially if they park the Premier League title, let's say in January. If they're 20 points even clear, which they could be, they can park the Premier League title there, focus on the Champions League. You know, if their under 23s are beating Arsenal's Europa League side, you know, then you know, what does that say? You know what I mean? You know, what does that say regarding that? They could go further, and I'm scared.
Keep in mind as well. At the beginning, I was getting a lot of stick from some of the Man United fans here because of the squad depth, and we didn't do much buying. Yeah.
Was talking about.
He hasn't been back since. You know what that's all about. If you're listening, Mustafa, we want answers.
Yeah, but like it just seems now that Liverpool do have that squad depth. Now that Ox is back, you know, if
Keita as well.
Keita,
Wow.
yeah, Keita, what a super assist!
Tell you what,
it's just brilliant.
that was like, well, I read somewhere like just like that. Obviously, Keita was always in Klopp's plans, you know. So I think that just shows you how good he is. He's been injured for a while, and then he pretty much. I know you guys are rotating the team and stuff now, but I feel like he would probably get into the team, like a fully fit Keita would probably get into the team.
Don Magnet asks for the Liverpool fan, so that's for you, Shawnee. Has Keita come in at a right time to add another dimension to Liverpool in order to help secure the title?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, I would say that he went missing at the wrong time though. He went missing at the wrong time and came back. I mean, any time for Keita to come back would have been the right time. He was just a big miss. I think I'm a big Keita fan. I loved him last season, and when he got injured, it was a massive bummer. It really was. So he went missing. He got injured at the wrong time. Yeah, came back. Any time's the right time for Keita to come back. He's just absolutely brilliant. It's absolute banging player. He's like the Kante of Liverpool. Just brilliant. Really aggressive on the ball, and brilliant going forward. And just a rising star, I think. I mean, this is like hopefully going to be the end of that sort of injury run, and he can like stay in the team for a good sort of year and just compete for his place, because we need people like that. Like I say, squad depth. If a Henderson gets injured, if a Wijnaldum gets injured, if a Fabinho, oh my goodness, like I mean, Fabinho's going to be out for another. Is it? My days, man. So like it's tough. So Keita, yeah, absolutely. I mean, bless him. Could like he just went out at the wrong time, but yeah, just great, absolutely brilliant to have him back. Yeah, so like brilliant.
Rasmus A says, talking of Liverpool, are they going to go to the Europa League this week? Come on, Haaland. Because they are playing Salzburg, aren't they? We are going to preview the Champions League fixtures towards the end of the stream, so watch this space, Rasmus A, because we are going to be talking about who's going to be and what people need to get. But Team Takage, are you? What do you think of Liverpool? I mean, game over. I mean, what isn't to be said about? What do you think?
Never. Like this Leicester side, people were comparing it to obviously the title winning side. Obviously, they just had a freak run in the. I mean, and other teams weren't that great. Let's be honest. Not discrediting Leicester, but.
So you think that this Leicester side is
arguably better
than the
title? If you think about it, obviously Liverpool are just freaks. So, Ndidi is. I mean, if you're talking about top CDMs in the world, you're talking about Kante, Fabinho, Ndidi.
Indeed,
Idrissa Gueye maybe.
Probably,
I can't really think of many others.
Yeah, Casemiro and Busquets
Maybe Allen for Napoli.
Frauds right now,
Yeah, that's a good shout actually.
Yeah, Allen for Napoli,
Yeah.
maybe him. Other than that, so I actually kind of forgot my point now. But yeah, sorry. So the Leicester side, Vardy is probably one of the most underrated players ever. Like, obviously he's dropped out of England, so it's kind of nice. Like, someone was talking about it, that him being in the England side would be amazing, which it would. But like, when people get international break, he gets a couple of days rest. Like, he's probably just smart, thinking, I get to spend time with my family while you guys are out getting, beaten by Kosovo. So, the defence is, apart from, they've got more clean sheets than Liverpool.
Yeah, they've got more clean sheets than anyone.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Their defence is like every position is. Go on.
I can't remember last time Liverpool they got a clean sheet against Bournemouth, didn't they?
Yeah,
but that was quite rare, to be
Yeah,
honest.
six games since our last clean
sheet.
Yeah.
I doubt you're going to get one against Salzburg. Quick questions to the Arsenal fan before we move on. So the general consensus here is that Liverpool are essentially unstoppable. Is that like they've got this league in the bag? But Team Takagi is saying that don't undercount Leicester City.
It's only 8 points. That's a couple of draws, couple of wins here and there.
So decisively it will be, because Liverpool are playing Leicester, I think, Christmas. I don't know what time it is exactly, but they are playing them. So if they beat Leicester, then it's game over, because they've already beaten Leicester before at Anfield.
But playing them probably just at the right time, just at the right moment.
Rasmus said, we're going to get to Arsenal, but I will answer this question. So should Arsenal sack their whole team that they can't even get a new manager bounce? Team Takaki one. Or do you want to wait till we discuss Arsenal later?
I'll answer that later.
Okay, he's going to answer it later. The new Mountain Reapers, Melee B, King Flipper.
I just want to quickly say as well, actually, Leicester are playing City just before Christmas. City need to really pick it up as well. So that's going to be an absolute banging game now. It's 21st.
I think City are going to still drop points, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I said I think they're going to drop points. Further points, in my opinion.
And then Leicester play, so 21st, and then on the 26th, they play Liverpool.
Okay.
Liverpool, we go to them, to King Power.
Just the last point. I think the key thing about this game at Liverpool, which is really, which I guess shows, how much Klopp has done, is that like they rested Mane, who's arguably the best player. He rested quite a few players, and again the players that come into the squad do a job. Like they come in, they haven't been playing for a while. He's rotating the squad, and it's if like nothing changes. It's just the same as business as usual.
Yeah. So we didn't have the only one of our front three that we had against Bournemouth. Well, it was huge changes in midfield as well, but it was just like the front three. If I can pull that game back up again, I will. But it was a complete change around for the team against. But we still, like you said, we still did a brilliant job. So it's a relief. Like I say, it was one of them things that was concerning. So yeah, brilliant to see.
Fair enough. Right. Okay. So we're gonna park Liverpool for a second. It's not over, but it very much well could be, just given how Liverpool have been. So we're gonna just quickly move on, and we're gonna talk about this dude. The sun rises in the east. The sun rises in the east.
Did you come up with that yourself?
No, I did not.
It's not original.
No, I did not. But my goodness, man. I'm sure I'm not the only one that saw Heung-min Son's goal against Burnley. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that's seen Spurs' revival. Obviously, they battered Burnley 5-0. They have now started to turn their season around. Mourinho is playing a lot differently than Mourinho used to play, although he's conceding few goals. And Tottenham look like a different beast. And Son and Ali look like they're back to their best.
Oh yeah.
it looks like Mourinho seems to know what he's doing. But I mean, I'm not going to really use a segment to talk about Spurs and their sort of, because I think time will tell. But what I guess the question is, do you feel that Son is grossly underrated as a Premier League player? And why is he grossly underrated?
Well, I don't know. Like, is he underrated? Because like he plays for one of the top clubs here in England. Dare I say he could do better than Spurs, but obviously at the beginning, like he wasn't as good as what he is now. I mean, I'd happily have him in the Liverpool squad. I think I even said to you before when we were just chatting. I mean, Salah isn't having the best game, the best season. Sorry, best season. I'd easily start Son in front of Salah at the moment. He's just absolutely brilliant. Not just in scoring goals, by the way, in everything else. In fact, I think a couple of games ago he got man of the match and he didn't score, and Kane scored 2, and Son still went ahead of Kane, because of how much his work rate and everything else that he did. Just proves what a brilliant player that he is. So yeah, is he underrated? I don't know. I think many, if you ask Chelsea, Liverpool, like Leicester even, they'd all be like, yeah, absolutely, bring Son in. Like I'd have him in there. So underrated, I don't think. I think people know that he's a absolute brilliant player, and that anyone would have him.
Team Kage?
Yeah, I think he is probably underrated. Like, I mean, if he was Brazilian, Spanish, English, or one of those kind of countries, they'd probably say like he's one of the best players in the world. Probably same with Mane, to be fair. Like, obviously at least Mane, is kind of being recognised now. He got top 4 in the Ballon d'Or. Some people say he should have gotten the top 3. But sorry, I've got the Arsenal game on in the background, and like it's worse than watching Everton. Like,
I mean, Everton have been looking quite. Just reading some of your comments. While we give Team Takage some time to recover. I just read something super ludicrous. Don Magnet, if Son was European British, he'd be receiving greater claim than Rashford. Fair point. I don't understand personally. Harry Kane is always touted as Tottenham's best player, and he's all right, but I do think they have more talented players at Spurs, in my opinion. Russia have been banned from all major sporting events for 4 years, a period of time which includes the 2022 World Cup, but yet a team of Russians could still play at the tournament in Qatar if they qualify. What a load of crap that is. I don't. Why are they getting banned again? Presumably it's doping. Presumably it's doping. Don Ragnar, I was in South Korea earlier this year. Son is bigger than K-pop. Fair enough. Yeah. It's quite big. Fair enough. Jeez, that just. I mean,
he's not underrated there.
No, he's a brilliant player. There's just no doubt about that he is brilliant. And
just a great personality as well. Just fantastic. Yeah.
It just goes through, because I remember back in the day when we had Park Ji-sung. And he was a boss, hardworking, really, really good, and was part of and won Champions Leagues and league titles, and it's that sort of like he's a good player, but you're opening that audience to so many people as well, and there are not that many, I would say, Asian superstars in the top of my head. I can Son Kagawa used to, but his Dortmund has kind of faded away, and Japanese Okazaki. Again, fading away Japanese or Leicester.
Come on! Sorry, boys. Sorry, lads. I'm really, really sorry.
And I think, is that Martinelli has scored, is it?
He's the only one in that whole team who has a bit of a fight.
We've got Arsenal have just got an equaliser against West Ham. It's Martinelli that scored it.
Flag your video after that shout.
Apologies about Team Takage 1. Quickly, Spanish Mr. Bean at the wheel. Long time no see, mate. Hey, I want to take Southampton job. Good evening. Rasmus say, how do you rate Son against Park Ji-sung? I mean, I'm going to be biased, but I always give it to Park Ji-sung because Park Ji-sung, won Champions Leagues, won Premier League titles. You know,
he was in an absolute smashing United
team. He was, but
you didn't have Kane playing for you. I mean, which isn't. I mean, you had like people like Van Nistelrooy were playing. At the
that's
time.
true. But we had also in defence, Wes Brown.
Yeah.
So so it's like we had a mixture of awesome players and sometimes average players, but our manager really transformed them. Yeah. Bro, people in poverty in Asia are brought to tears watching Son play. Amazing to see. Really, jeez, man. Son gives them hope. Yeah. Is the guy a god or something?
Well,
jeez.
Let's hope not.
Yeah. So like.
But, I mean, I was just saying. You both were saying that he's underrated. I actually think that he's at a standard now where everyone knows he's a brilliant. I think Man United would have him, Leicester would have him, Liverpool would have him. All the top teams, I think, would. I don't even like Madrid or someone like that would probably like say let's get this lad. Arsenal on the attack again. I tell you what, you had to get that one right, didn't he? Right in the box as well, sticking a leg out like that.
Spanish Mr. Bean, the Will Hakim Ziyech.
I love that.
Yeah, I would definitely take him. I don't know why
I think Arsenal should have got him instead of Pepe personally.
Yeah, I mean he's at Ajax and he's only I think 40 million release clause. So again, I'm still not sure why it is, but here's a conundrum. And I'll put this to the comments, guys, as we move on. It looks like it's an open game. Son or Sadio Mane?
Oh, no.
That is the question.
No,
Son versus Sadio Mane. What do you think? What do you think about that?
I mean, it's Sadio Mane. Even in the current form that Son's in, Sadio Mane I think is still doing better.
Sadio Mane's a complete forward.
And he's topped the fantasy league now, by the way, Mane.
Sadio Mane.
Yeah, with the most points.
Yeah, of course.
So I'd probably still say Sadio. Like at the moment, I wouldn't play anyone ahead of him. He was rested against Bournemouth, by the way. Big shout from Klopp.
Yeah.
For me, Mane still. Even though I'd still have Son, Salah, I'd have Son. Yeah, but Mane, no.
Fair enough.
I think Klopp's probably like that's the trust that Klopp has in his players as well. He has the game before. Who did you play? Was it Everton?
I think so.
Yeah, and you've got Divock Origi getting a brace. You've got Shaqiri, who hasn't played in like years. He gets a goal. Do you know what I mean? So he's probably thinking, I can rest Mane.
Yeah.
I can do that. And to be honest, Bournemouth, I've had like 5 losses straight. So I think that's, Klopp knows what he's doing. I'll take this back.
Just quickly reading some of the comments again before we move on. Don Wagner, the only other player I know that reduces men to tears is Phil Jones. United fans, that is. So, no doubt about that. So, Spanish was being at the wheel. Oh, I have to go Mane. He's on another level. And Phil Jones is made from glass. Fair play, mate. Spaz has made Don, you mean more than Lingard? I would say Phil Jones more than Lingard. To be fair to Lingard, he actually had a good game against City, so we should give him props there. Spanish, Mr. Bean, Lingard will be amazing in the future. Yes, he is youth potential. We all know this. Let's move on from Son and quickly just have a quick discussion about Big D. This is Duncan Ferguson at Everton. Big D, thug life man who did one over against Chelsea, and I guess the quick question is this a turning point for Everton? They are playing United at the weekend.
Sink them, man.
Is this a turning point? Do you think? What do you think, Shawnee?
I bloody hope not. I just think this. We put them in the relegation zone. They should have stayed there. Chelsea should have kept them in there.
Dunkin' Donuts Ferguson.
Donuts Ferguson. Yeah.
Man, so.
No, just stick him back down there for us. If you can.
Get Unai Emery and then
Unai Emery going to Everton. So. Good evening indeed.
Good evening, Everton.
Team Takagi won. Do you think because Big D Duncan was very emotional on the touchline, that the passion, the zeal to really get them through. I mean, maybe this is it.
Team Chicago.
Come on! Come on! And
Pepe just scored an absolute blinding goal. If you guys are just watching the game, if you're not watching the game, Pepe just from the edge of the box there, the ball came out to him, and he took his time. So the ball was rolling out to him, and he took his time with it a little bit, and he set himself up. No, he's fine. He set himself up, and he curled the ball with his left foot right into the top left-hand corner. It was an absolute blinding goal.
If there's any Liverpool fans, it was like prime Salah.
Yeah, it was prime Salah.
18 season.
So he was just on the edge of the box. He set himself up. He stuck it to his left, and then he just curled it right into the top left corner. And it had quite a lot of pace on it as well. Absolute a sublime goal
No chance for the keeper.
by Arsenal there. Just absolutely blind. In 66 minutes, it's going to be a cracking game. If for those of you that are not watching, absolutely blinding goal, worth watching.
Just
later.
to let you know. Anyway, that's just.
we're going to the Arsenal. We're going to the Arsenal. It's not an Arsenal. We're going to the Arsenal section in a second. So this result might change things, because we were talking about. I'm going to talk about Arsenal misery here, but But just to say what Rasmus, I don't think more than Lingard, because he plays way more than Jones and he fucks up much more often, missing sitters. That is, Phil Jones. Sorry. Fair enough. So last comments on Big D. Duncan says, do you think he'll be a success at Everton before we move to Arsenal, who seem to have changed their fortunes?
Just sink them at the weekend, put them back down to that relegation zone. Team Chicago.
Yeah.
You think so? Damn it.
We'll see.
I'm too buzzing.
We'll see. We'll see.
Scored, so.
I'm as a United fan, having the fact that we're playing them at the weekend. I'm scared, because our players, when they're rattled, can be quite difficult, So I'm hoping that we go out them, attack them, cause them problems. That this is just a brief thing, but we will see. We will see in time, but we will preview the game fairly soon. Anyway, moving on, and this initially was going to be, and Team Tagaga's input here about Arsenal misery woes, and it still will be. But of course, Arsenal right now are leading.
Good timing.
2-1. Team Takage 1. What do you see as where do Arsenal go from here? Let's put it that way.
We keep winning. Get a new manager in ASAP as well. I think.
You think so?
Yeah, because
Lundbo put a good team out.
Yeah. All the Arsenal fans before this
Everyone's
game.
leaving the chat now because it was Arsenal. So anyway, go on Team Takage 1.
1 second, Pepe's on the ball again. Oh!
They've just scored again for everyone. It's Aubameyang. So it was bouncing around a bit. Pepe had another shot, but it was deflected. It dropped straight to Aubameyang, and Aubameyang just put it into the bottom right hand corner.
This is Wenger ball. This is Wenger ball right now.
Yeah. So Team Chicago might be out of this podcast.
As I was saying, yeah, I need a minute to calm down. This is basically that someone posted on Twitter earlier, and it got a lot of likes. They were saying, this is the team we want put out. That's beautiful,
Oh, he might be
offside.
Is he offside?
Yeah, he's onside.
Is he? Yeah, right. It'll be VAR checked.
This is the team we want out. As much how good Lacazette is, Bellerin has been, if I'm honest, Bellerin's been poor this season, and Maitland-Niles has actually come in, and he's actually done a decent job today. If I'm honest, right, the defense has actually been decent. Like, the goal was what's up?
Can I just say what my score prediction was at the beginning?
Yeah, Firmino predicted 3-1. However, the game's not over yet. But yeah,
it's pretty.
The defense. Yeah, Phillips and get off, man. The defense. Chambers is our, apart from Holding, Chambers is our best centre back. You can't have David Luiz and Socrates next to each other because that's too rash. Arsenal so bad. I'd like to retract my earlier statement. They're all coming out now in hordes. All the Arsenal haters are coming out. I'm getting texts left, right, and centre. Well, it's not my phone, but people are getting texts left, right, and
Okay,
centre.
okay, calm down, Team Takagi. Okay, calm down, Team Takagi. One for starters, this is a team that's also struggling to form as well.
Didn't West Ham beat United?
Yeah, they did beat United. They did. So, but I mean,
West Ham
I mean, at this period in time, that the team struggling for form.
And we got City on Sunday as well.
I mean, we beat Brighton, so I'm not entirely sure what the statement's all about at home.
Newcastle isn't for everybody either.
I mean, we beat Manchester City, so
we got City on Sunday.
So, do you think that you're going to win that game against Manchester City?
Well, we're looking good.
Are you?
The only way is up from here. If Pepe's scoring, I mean, anything's possible.
Or is this a testament to how bad West Ham are playing?
West Ham won their last game, I think.
They did. They went and beat, I think, Chelsea. I think it was.
Yeah. Was it Chelsea?
They beat Chelsea. I know a way. Yeah.
I thought it was Everton.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
so Everton and Chelsea, Everton and West Ham both beat Chelsea.
Oh yeah, 2 losses for
Yeah.
That's just
so it's gonna be a difficult one. Anyway, sorry guys for this. Everyone's probably deserting the chat because of the Arsenal sort of to banter. So we'll try and get back into topic in terms of the podcast. In simple terms, obviously this was initially going to be talking regarding any future for Arsenal, where Arsenal are going, but clearly it seems that this win over West Ham will spearhead them into the right direction. I guess the last question before we move on, so we could talk about something different, is should Arsenal basically get a manager soon? Basically, should they get should they wait? What should they do? Should they get an interim manager into the end of the season and then look, or should they try and get a top class manager in like right now, or can they?
I don't know, man. Like I mean. Look at what happened Man United with Solskjaer. I don't know what experience Ljungberg has had. Where was Ljungberg before this?
He was one of the assistants, I think.
Yeah, don't you want to give him a few games? I mean, if you get a manager right now, I mean, he's picking them up already. Already at the beginning, everyone was saying, "Oh, this is the team that everyone wanted to see," and he gave them that. He gave them he picked the best team he possibly could, and he's 3-1 up against West Ham, who, I mean, let's be frank as well. I mean, West Ham, no one wants to go to West Ham, and they've just gone away to West Ham. They're winning 3-1.
Do you think
they haven't played well?
Do you think stick with this team?
I think
stick with
give Ljungberg till at least January or something. Just give Ljungberg through Christmas, through the busy period through Christmas to just.
The thing is,
pick
it
them up.
Sounds weird, but if he beats City, he's definitely keeping his job.
You think so?
I mean, I don't think we're going to beat City.
Is that like it's just like he'll hold up the I've got City.
I just think it's like that's
that's City's dog tag.
yeah. I mean, a few other teams have got it this season, but what another one to add to the kill list? Why not?
Yeah.
I just think that'll be like an emotional win because obviously Arsenal are a bit of a banter club right now, not a bit, a lot. And if you beat someone like City, although Man United have done it, Wolves and Newcastle.
Newcastle drew.
Sorry, who was the other one? Norwich. It's still like that's like you said. That's a dog tag type of thing. And Arsenal are like 10 on the gas here. But the thing is, at Norwich, I can't remember the team that we played, but it doesn't matter when you have Luiz and Socrates in defence. But yeah, I think we need to move on from Arsenal. But yeah.
Right, okay. Right. Let's move on from Arsenal Football Club. I think we would have this conversation would have been very different had Arsenal not been winning currently right now. There would have been a lot less noise and more disagreements. So, but considering that Arsenal seems to be ahead, possibly this might be a new core, a new chapter for them. Who knows? We will see. On Saturday, I think Saturday or Sunday they're playing. Super Sunday, where City will be playing Arsenal, and we'll preview that game. Okay, let's just quickly go to European football now, just for those who are still watching. We turn to the Bundesliga, and the biggest shock of the weekend in the Bundesliga is the fact that Borussia Mönchengladbach, that's Mönchengladbach. I'm like these guys, I mean, they're getting bantered in the Europa League. and yet they wow, they seem to they beat Bayern Munich 2-1, and they're now like Bayern Munich are now 7th place. So there seems to be like quite a competitive Bundesliga this season. Can Bayern turn it around? Do you think that they'll be, I mean, looking at the table, Gladbach are first with 31 points, Leipzig 30, Dortmund 26, Schalke 25, Freiburg 25, Leverkusen 25, and then Bayern Munich 7th with 24. So
still in it.
but Munich are 7 points off first now.
Everyone's saying the Bundesliga is the league.
I don't know. It's still tight though, isn't it?
It is still tight.
Yeah.
But I mean, these are head-to-head. So the fact that Gladbach beat Bayern Munich and Bayern have lost the last 2 games in a row now. I mean,
look at Leipzig. Just absolutely smashing.
Yeah, win. If you look at Bayern Munich's form, lost 3 out of their last 5.
Yeah.
So they have one of the worst compared to the remaining of the top 6. So question again. Can Gladbach win? Can Gladbach win the Bundesliga? They haven't won it since I think about 1965-70.
I mean, no one was ever expecting Leicester to do what they did in the Premiership. So to say that Gladbach couldn't do it would be a mistake, wouldn't it? Really, I'd say. So, and if they just beat Munich, who could maybe are still seen as the biggest threat, then it's testament to them, isn't it? It's more power to them. And it just looks like, I mean, they've got a loss in there as well, Mönchengladbach, and it looks like Leipzig are right on their tail. Well, I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that they can win it. Why not? Go on. Go Mönchengladbach. You'll never walk alone is written on their scarf.
That's true.
Yeah.
What's the history of that,
Yeah, I know. My dad was at the game. So like Mönchengladbach came to Liverpool in the Champions League game, and they were wearing these green wigs, and and they took such a liking to the Liverpool fans that they started exchanging scarves in the pubs and everything like that. And then some of the home fans at Mönchengladbach started writing it, asking to have that "You'll never walk alone" written on their own. And since then they've always had it. So there's a little bit of like a Liverpool connection there, and maybe they have drawn a little bit of that Klopp spirit in the Mönchengladbach camp. Maybe, I don't know, but like in the big picture, I'd go for it. Why not? I mean, they're ahead now. Just keep that good run of form, and just you never know. Busy period coming up. So if they're still good after that, go for it.
Keen Takagi want anything?
No, I'm saying we teach history here as well. We educate people in here, not just it's not just a football podcast. But yeah, no, I think it'd be nice to see a new winner in a Bundesliga, like Rasmus is saying. There could be a new league winner in a few leagues, actually. Serie I think Juve lost again. They lost to Lazio, didn't they?
They lost to Lazio, yeah.
So
they drew with Sassuolo.
Drew with Sassuolo and then lost to Lazio. So we could.
They drew against Roma, so they couldn't take advantage there. But they're still ahead into Milan. Still on top of the table, but it's not by that much.
Yeah, so we could have a few. Well, obviously City won the league last season. So we could have a new winner in every league,
except
potentially.
the Farmers League, which is
PSG. I don't think that'll ever happen.
That's you're not going to see that.
But yeah,
unless went to league that when Monaco won. Monaco won it that time, didn't they? So, but no.
That was when Emery was there.
At Monaco. Oh no, that was when Emery was there at PSG. Yeah. That's one of the Spanish frauds, anyway. So, but when you look at what's happening with Arsenal there, and you can see that he's a fraud. Anyway, let's quickly move. Speaking of Serie A, so this might be the Italian fraud here. So the Italian fraud in Maurizio Sarri. This guy, I mean, I can kind of see what he wants to do, but I just find it interesting that every team he goes against, he spends time trying to establish his philosophy, and they just get bantered so many times against opposition that they would routinely beat. So, he's gone to Juventus, his first season. There seems to be some beef with Ronaldo. There seems to be some incoherence of the players. Is Sarri a fraud? Is Sarri a fraud?
Sarri.
Is Sarri ball? Is the whole thing? Is he a fraud? Sean, do you think he should be put in the banter academy? And if so, at what level? What tier?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, he's still what position are they in now?
Yeah, so they're second.
Second still.
They're second. They're behind.
Was he in charge right from the beginning of the season?
Yeah. Although he was ill, to be fair, he was fair for a while. So, but right now they're second, but they're 2 points behind Inter Milan. 2 points behind.
2 points. Yeah. Okay. Also changed a lot, haven't they, Inter? So I don't know. Like, it might be a little too soon yet. We'll see what happens during the season. Just a bad run of form for Juventus. I mean, we're all entitled to have a bad run of games. So we'll just see what happens at the end of the season, and we'll figure out if Sarri is also a fraudiola.
He's definitely a fraud. Definitely a fraud there. Rasmus A says, I wouldn't call him a fraud, but he has never been anything special, and I never understand the hype around Sarri. I mean, I give him props to the fact that he certainly improved Kante's game, no doubt about that. But I don't know. It just seems that the Sarri ball, the football, like, what actually is it? That he's actually he brings that's different to Juventus, frankly. But you do say, Rasmus, about Guardiola, the story is different. Some call him the GOAT. I think, Guardiola as a manager, the GOAT. I would. He's a good manager. He's a great manager. But I wouldn't say that Guardiola's the greatest of all time in terms of managers. I think that's a stretch. I think that,
Yeah, if you like the Shankleys, the Alex Fergusons.
Even just the fact that, even though I think Guardiola's a better manager than Zidane, Zidane won 3 Champions League back to back. That is an achievement as well. So and I think a Serie, and I think a La Liga title won that as well. So
I think he is. He's a good manager. So. So everyone's turned their heads to the TV now. Aubameyang's on the run. He's just got to the penalty area, and now he's just collapsed in the heap, which wasn't really good for anybody.
And hopefully he's not injured from that. But anyway, okay. So we seem to all be in agreement that Sarri may or may not be a fraud, but most likely is one.
It's a bit too early.
A bit too early.
Premature.
Okay. Well, we'll watch this space regarding Juventus because. This could be Inter's year because Juventus have won the Serie A in the last, I think, is it 6 or 7 years in a row? And if it's under his reign that they stop it. I mean, people will be there'll be murmurings because there is a big rivalry between Inter and Juventus, so there will definitely be murmurings. Don Ragnar says, my favourite manager battle of all time was Fergie versus Lippi when United and Juventus clashed in the 90s. I definitely agree with that. I think that is sound.
I'm a bit young for that one, sorry, Ragnar.
But we definitely did, especially in that lead up to 99. My goodness. Right, moving on. Okay, so I said we cut our European conversation short because we want to do a brief Champions League preview where we're going to just go around, preview the games, and then go into our Premier League Game Week 17 preview, and then we'll finish our stream with our top fantasy football picks. So before we go into it, 2 things. Obviously, like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Listen to the podcast on iTunes and Spotify if you can download them, and consider supporting us on Patreon. Link in description. Check us out. 100% Manchester United podcast is coming soon, so stay tuned for that. We're going to have you guys coming in. You'll be able to phone in or become part of the podcast. So as long as you've got a mic in your laptop or external, whatever, you'll be able to join, and we'll be talking all things United. And lastly, and I've forgotten what lastly, what's lastly? There's something else that I forgot.
New channel?
Sorry?
New channel?
No, not a channel. Can't remember. Well, shout out to Team Takage 1 and Famicho's channels. Actually, there'll be a link in the description of those, so please check those channels, their channels out as well. they're a great part of this podcast. Right, just before we go in, Rasmus says Sir Alex Ferguson is the GOAT, surely. Not just in United, he won Europe and the Scottish League with Aberdeen, and that winning of the Scottish League with Aberdeen was the last time a team outside Glasgow won the SPL. Fair enough.
He's up there, like Bill, like I say, Bill Shankly, Bob Paisley. They're all.
Yeah.
I mean, Pep Guardiola hasn't really done that because I mean, if you think as well, like.
And they stayed at one club.
Yeah, you have Alex Ferguson came into a team that was on its way down, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it's true. Yeah.
So, same as what Bob Paisley, Shankly, and I think we were in Division 2, and we kind of did like a Nottingham Forest. We came up and just went and won. So yeah, like I don't know if Pep Guardiola is capable of doing something like that, but it's still his testimony would still say that he wins. You know, he wins. It doesn't really matter what sort of competition you're looking at. It's a good rate that he's got in winning.
I remember what I wanted to say now. Yes, we also streaming on Twitch. So we stream to YouTube and to Twitch. So if you do want to watch us or take us or follow us on Twitch, because we'll be streaming Red Devil Studio Live, the podcast, and also PES and FIFA streams to Twitch. It's Red Devils Studio. The link's in the description as well. Check us out on Twitch as well. Go over there and follow us on Twitch as well. I really, really appreciate it. So check us out on Twitch, guys. I will post the link in the description. Right, so Champions League preview. So first thing first, with the game at the top actually, and starting at, well, I think one of the earliest kickoffs, which is tomorrow, RB Salzburg versus Liverpool, 5:55 on Tuesday tomorrow. Shawnee, your thoughts?
We've done a little better since last time, like so there's obviously like a little bit of, because we sort of struggled against them kind of teams in the Champions League, especially like when we went away to Red Bull. No, what was it called? Red Star. Yeah. I always call them Red Bull, but yeah. So like these are tough games. We don't have a City group. They're actually they're hard. They're hard games, but we're doing a little bit better now. I think since then our form's been good, so I'm quite confident. I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. I'm looking forward to every game really. If I'm being completely honest with you, it's just a pleasure to watch them. So I think it's going to be a good result. If I had to make a prediction, I'd like to think that we're going to keep a clean sheet again. Are we away?
Yes, you are away.
Yeah, away. Okay, I'm going to go 2-0. 2-0. Ox banging one in, and I'll go someone a little bit obscure.
Who's obscure?
Obscure, and say Robbo getting one as well.
Okay, cool. Kai Havertz, should United go for him? Don Ragnar. Kai Havertz, he plays for Leverkusen.
Yeah, he's like a sort of future star, like everyone's great. I thought he would get moved to City or something in the transfer window.
I don't think so. I think that we have a few players that play in that position already, and
What position does he play?
because he plays he's CAM. Well, a few players. Him or Fernandez. Yeah, I guess we could go for Kai. I guess. I think that I don't think that's a bad shout. If whoever's cheaper, Fernandez or Kai, I think that comes to the question. How much would he actually cost?
He's a lot.
You know, I imagine he wouldn't go for any less than 90 million, frankly.
Yeah.
Haaland Drago to score. So there's people pitting Liverpool to lose the game, but 2-0, fair enough, Sean. Team Takage, do you want to take the next game after that? Napoli versus Genk, which is also in that group.
Well, Napoli have already qualified, I believe. So, I think...
Have they?
I think Napoli have already qualified because of head-to-head. So, they beat Liverpool. I think they drew or beat Salzburg.
Okay.
So, whoever, if Liverpool win, well, I think they might be on the same points as Napoli, or just one ahead. So Napoli are through anyway. You'll have a look at the table right here. It'll show you a bit better. So Napoli are on
9
okay,
points.
well, Napoli haven't already qualified. No, they have. So if Salzburg win, obviously Liverpool. Oh wait, what am I talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about here. Because
if Salzburg beat Liverpool,
if Salzburg beat Liverpool,
then Napoli don't go through.
Then Napoli don't go
Which
through.
will be a bit of a travesty, really,
Yeah.
because that's the second year in a row. And Napoli have a really good squad. They beat Liverpool twice in a row now.
Yeah. Salzburg basically need to beat Liverpool in order to ensure their qualification, and then if Liverpool lose and Napoli beat Genk, which they will, then they top
Well,
the
I don't know
group.
about if they will, because I feel like they've already drawn with them.
And the question of Liverpool's, I think Liverpool would still go through based on head-to-head, but they'd be second.
If Salzburg
Beat Liverpool,
yeah, because of the goal difference.
of the head-to-head, so they have to score quite a few goals. So really, Salzburg have to hope that Napoli lose or draw, to Genk. So
and it'd be pretty cool if Salzburg did go through, because they look a bit like Ajax. I mean, maybe not strong defensively, but they look like just that they can score like 3 or 4 every game. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Napoli bottle it again.
Right. Okay.
I didn't actually give a score prediction.
Oh, score
but
prediction.
I just
No. Quick score prediction.
I'm not really sure. I think Napoli are going to bottle it again, honestly. And with everything that's going on, it could be possible at the club. So I think it's going to be a draw.
A draw. Okay. 1-1. Goalless.
1-1.
1-1. Okay.
Which will be fine for them, I guess, if Liverpool manage to hold out.
So next, we'll quickly go through. So Dortmund versus Slavia Prague. Going back to the table again, this is also another very interesting group because Barcelona have 11 points, Inter have 7, Dortmund have 7, and Slavia Prague have 2. Now, if Dortmund, so I think Barcelona effectively through. Sorry, so they've got 11 points, so Barcelona are through as group winners because they've got 11 points, they're solid. So it is a question between Inter and Dortmund. If Dortmund beat Slavia Prague, they have 10 points. If Inter basically have to beat Barcelona to ensure they qualify. And I think head to head, I think Dortmund do Dortmund have a better head to head against Inter? I think they do.
Yeah.
Dortmund beat Inter.
Dortmund beat Inter at home, but did Inter beat Dortmund at the San Siro? Let me know in the comments. Guys. Did Dortmund beat Inter in the San Siro? But I think the Dortmund's head-to-head may be slightly better. In which case, again, Inter are going to have to rely on the fact that the goal difference of Inter is better, but it's head-to-head, not goal difference, that actually ensues who goes through or not. So I think if both of those teams win their games, Dortmund will go through. But then, this is a big ask because I think Dortmund will win. I think them being at home, the yellow wall, I think they'll beat Slavia Prague by at least 3-0, and they seem to pick up a bit of form. But Inter versus Barcelona, and Barcelona will be away. Shawnee, what do you think?
Yeah, Barcelona will be away. I don't know, still an absolute force, Barcelona, aren't they? Great spirit that they've got going there at Inter, though, as well. So that's a good game. That's a good game to actually sit down and watch.
I kind of like how it's going down to the wire.
It is going down to the wire, isn't it?
The past two, I mean, obviously, last Champions League campaign was, people were saying it was one of the best ever. And this one's looking that way as well, to be honest. Salzburg just come out of nowhere. Nobody expected them to be firing. Ajax look good again. We don't really know what's going to happen in a chat. I think there's 3 or 4 groups which are going down to the wire. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah,
Score prediction?
Yeah, score prediction. I'll go. Are Barcelona away?
Barcelona away, yes.
Away, yeah, right. Okay. I'm gonna go with. And what's Barcelona's form like in the Liga?
They're currently first.
First, okay.
So they're joint, I think, with Real Madrid.
Like won their last 5 games kind of thing.
Yeah, so they're doing quite well.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, Rasmus A says Inter's not going to get anything against Barca, so let's not even discuss this. Messi's going to batter them. So there you go.
Okay.
What about Lautaro Martinez?
I'll go. Shall I go low scoring again? Shall I go like 2-0? Are Inter gonna score? I'll go no, that they won't score. So I've said 2-0 to Liverpool in our game. So I feel like I should change it up a bit, but 2-0 sort of feels right. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'll go 2-0 to Barcelona as well. Yeah.
2-0 to Barcelona. Okay,
Yeah.
let's quickly blitz through these because there's actually a lot of Champions League games going to go through. So I'll only explain the rationale for the big teams. So team to kind of get quickly, Benfica versus Zenit St. Petersburg. And guys, in the comments, you put your score predictions as well. That'd be great. Zenit St. Petersburg.
Who was the other one?
So Benfica at home to Zenit St. Petersburg.
That's the kind of quote-unquote banter group, isn't it? Leon, Benfica,
Leipzig and Benfica. Zenit Petersburg.
I'd love for Leipzig to go through because they're just exciting to watch.
Well, looking at the table, Leipzig have got 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
So Zenit have 7
mm-hmm.
and Lyon have 7.
Mm-hmm.
So it is still semi-open.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously Leipzig are playing Lyon. So if Lyon beat Leipzig, they'll be on 10 points, and obviously there's a head-to-head element there. If Zenit St. Petersburg beat Benfica, obviously Benfica they'll be on 10 points. So that'll be interesting. I'm not entirely sure on the head-to-head, but you have 3 teams on 10 points in that respect.
Right. Yeah.
Of course, if Benfica beat
See how much that meant to him. Yeah.
if Benfica beat if Benfica beat Zenit, then obviously they'll have 7 points, above 7 points, and then it'll be a question of who comes out when it comes to Lyon or RP Leipzig. Shawnee, I think it was actually. Shawnee, quick thing on Benfica, Zenit St. Petersburg. Who do you think will win?
Yeah, that was Team Takage's one.
Team Takage,
Yeah.
go for it. Sorry, go for it.
I'll go with Benfica. They got more experience.
Okay.
Score prediction?
I'll go 2-0.
2-0.
Okay.
It's all been 2-0 predictions so far.
2-0 predictions. Okay, and then Shawnee, just quickly, Lyon at home to RP Leipzig.
Oh, blimey. Leipzig are doing banging though, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll go Leipzig because they've had like 5 wins in a row, didn't they?
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
Liga,
All right.
And they are top of this group right now. So
top of the group as well, and they're playing against. Sorry.
So they're playing against away to Lyon.
Lyon are good though. I go 3-1, high scoring game a little bit, and they're away or at home.
They're away.
Away, all blown. Maybe not 3-1 then. 2-1. 2-1 to Leipzig.
Right. Just give us 2 seconds, guys. We're just changing the mic. Sorry about this. Next thing will be Ajax versus Valencia. Right, 1 second, guys. Okay, we're back. So Ajax versus Valencia. This is an interesting group because this is Chelsea's group, and it looks like Ajax have 10 points, Valencia have 8, and Chelsea have 8. Chelsea have a good final game against Lyon, so Chelsea should beat Lyon at home at Stamford Bridge and should get 11 points from this game, in which case, if Ajax beat Valencia, they will top the group. But if Valencia beats Ajax, then Ajax and assuming Chelsea beat Lyon, Valencia will go through, and I think Valencia might top the group because I think Valencia's head-to-head is better, and I think that Chelsea would go through as well. Ajax would actually drop into Europa League. So Ajax do need to beat Valencia, or at very least not lose. Arsenal moved to 9th place, 2 points behind United.
Doesn't sound
and
right.
And a point behind thing, but they're in the top half of the table now, and they're 7 points off
Well
top
done,
4.
Arsenal.
So fair play to them. They have to do this because they're playing City on the weekend, which we're going to talk about in a second. But
Good Super Sunday.
Quickly speaking, I think Ajax will beat Valencia at home. Well, I don't know. I'll give it to Valencia because I've noticed that Ajax seem to struggle at home. Their away form is a lot better than their home form.
Yeah, right.
And they don't seem to be able to deal with the pressure. So I'm actually going to give it a 2-1 to Valencia, actually.
Yeah, right. Fair play.
Quickly, team Shawnee. Chelsea versus Leo.
Oh, blimey. Chelsea just haven't been on form at all. And what's Leo's form been like? Where are they in the French league?
Banter right now.
Banter, okay. So Chelsea should.
Well,
should
who was there last season? Pepe.
Pep.
He got them into the top 4.
Yeah.
They've only got 1 point in this entire Champions League campaign.
Yeah, so Chelsea.
Who was that against?
Possibly against Valencia, I think. I'm not entirely sure.
Chelsea have also been conceding though.
Yeah.
So it might be that Lille get 1.
Yeah.
But then Chelsea will come through. I'll go with 3-1.
3-1 to
3-1 to
Chelsea. Okay. Don Wagner says, Ajax, I always like watching Eric Ten Hag's tactical influence on the game. 2-0 Ajax. Fair enough. And Rasmus say, will Liverpool and Chelsea go to Europa League? I hope so. It's a possibility, isn't it? It's a possibility. So we'll just quickly go for the last without really just explaining. We'll quickly go with who's going to win and then go into Premier League fixtures and then we're done because we've been going for quite some time. Club Brugge against Real Madrid. Who do you see winning that? Team Takage?
Club Brugge and Real Madrid. Well, Real Madrid are already through, so they might just experiment this game.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
I think both Real Madrid and Club Brugge are through, really.
No,
sorry,
PSG.
PSG, sorry, are through.
Yeah, I think PSG, will they top the group already?
I think PSG have already topped the group, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's a
Real Madrid probably just play some youngsters, see
it's a
see
dead
if something
game.
new works.
The only thing really to fight for is the third spot between Club Brugge and Galatasaray for the Europa League. So that's probably the only thing really from that game. But you still peg Real Madrid to win the game.
Yeah.
Okay. Shawnee, Paris Saint-Germain versus Galatasaray at home.
Paris Saint-Germain. Galatasaray. That's where Karius is at. So
I think so, yeah.
10-0 to... no, I'm joking. Yeah, so PSG might just... if they might just be happy cruising as well. So it might just be one of them games where it's just... PSG don't play any of their stars. Galatasaray, they can't be particularly bothered, can they?
I mean, a fight for the Europa League, maybe.
Yeah, right. Okay, fair enough. So I'll go with a draw. 2-2 draw.
Okay. Last couple of games. This is a big one, and I'll go to my meeting. Bayern Munich versus Tottenham Hotspur. That is going to be a game on Wednesday. Bayern
It'll be interesting
versus
because
Spurs.
if they get battered 7-2 again, then that's just filthy. Like
Bayern have already topped the group, however, on 15 points.
do you think they might?
And Spurs have also qualified on 10 points. So, again, this is another one of those games that will be quite interesting, but it's essentially a dead game.
Pride, though. Mourinho's not going to go and play a bunch of youngsters, is he?
I don't think so, no.
Actually, well, he might. And then if he loses, you just say, well, I was experimenting, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You never know.
Never know.
But it's at Bayern, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that doesn't really mean much these days because Leverkusen beat Bayern at Bayern, I believe. Mönchengladbach was away, but still.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a good game though. It's not going to be 7-2, definitely not. But I'm going to go with draw for that one. But I think it could be quite a high scoring draw.
Okay.
Bayern's defense is banter.
Okay. Bayern's defense is banter. I agree with that.
Spurs' defense it's actually improved under Mourinho as you'd expect.
Has it? They've conceded 8 goals in the last 4 games.
Yeah. Well, obviously good. You kind of
Spurs winning in Munich, says Rasmus A. Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. You got to work with what you got and improve bit by bit. So they're winning number 1, so that's changed, and they just kept a clean sheet against Burnley. So you take the small things.
Keeping a clean sheet against Burnley is seems to be a regular, really. I mean, so Sean Dyche just seems to have just, well,
Wrapped up.
I'm not sure what's happened to Sean Dyche, but anyway, I'll leave it at that. But it's a dead game. Olympiacos versus Red Star Belgrade, Shawnee. Battle for the Europa League spot.
Yeah.
Olympiacos only had 1 point at all in campaign.
Yeah. Olympiacos against. Apparently, they're not. None of them are doing particularly well, are they? Red Star.
Red Star's on 3 points.
3 points, yeah. I might just go with another draw. And now I know it sounds boring, but just 1-1.
To be fair to Olympiacos, they were 2-0 up against Tottenham.
Yeah.
In at Wembley, and then that was the comeback. So Spurs came back from 2-0 down to win 3-2. So
yeah, right, fair enough.
They fought.
Okay. Yeah, I'll stick with the draw.
Fair enough.
Might sound boring.
Fair enough. I'm gonna breeze for this group, to be honest. City, Dynamo Zagreb. City are gonna win. End of story. 3 or 4-0. Shakhtar Donetsk, Atlanta. Probably I just give the Shakhtar because Atlanta have really been really disappointing. Man City have already qualified, and Shakhtar probably will just about beat Atalanta. So yeah, let's just ignore that banter group. Lastly, Atletico Madrid versus Lokomotiv Moscow. Team Takage won.
Well, obviously,
Atletico Madrid Juventus have qualified, but Atletico Madrid not yet on 7 points.
Well, Leverkusen are playing Juve, right?
Leverkusen are playing Juventus, yeah. But remember, Juventus have qualified. So are they going to really play a strong team when they've got a league to fight for?
Oh, okay.
So...
well, you'll have to say with that one because Leverkusen.
Though our Lokomotiv going to play a strong team, really.
I think even if Leverkusen go through, I wouldn't expect them to do anything. I saw their defense against Bayern Munich and it was awful. It was really, really bad. So yeah, I think even if Leverkusen do win, I don't think they're going to go very far in the next stage. But I think they'll give Juve a good game, but I don't think Juve are going to lose. So I think they'll be a draw at max.
Okay.
So I'll give that 1-1.
And Shawnee, Atletico Madrid, Lokomotiv?
I'll go with let's go. Yeah. Score prediction 3-0.
3-0.
Atletico.
3-0. Okay, we're almost done, guys. So thanks to everyone who's still with us. It's been that game. Rasmus A. It's not at Wembley. It's in Munich. For Spurs. And Don Ragnar, did Sean Dyche inspire Christian Bale's Batman voice? I'm not sure. Sean Dyche is...
he's old school, isn't he?
He's old school, but recently he might be being inducted into the Banter Academy. Some of his comments, some of his things, like at the very least, he's right now is in tier 3, I think, for the Banter Academy. If he gets battered again, he's going to tier 2. So watch this channel space. We are going to be posting.
Is it promoted or relegated to tier 2?
Promoted to tier 2.
Is it promoted?
Yeah.
Okay,
so when you get to top tier 1, that's your top banter right there.
Banter,
top
okay.
banter.
So you have to earn your way up there.
You have to earn exactly. You have to do certain things. Like right now, the current residents of tier 1 Banter Academy is Unai Emery for various achievements. Like being essentially a disaster at Arsenal, for conceding 6 goals away from home, and despite having unlimited resources, losing the title to Monaco of Paris. So Unai Emery is quite high in tier 1 Banter Academy right now, and there are a few others as well. But we'll do a video about that actually. Banter Academy updates. If Dyche is Batman, Roy Hodgson is the Penguin. Well. Is that a compliment to Roy Hodgson? Because Roy Hodgson's doing quite well at Crystal Palace. I'd say even better than Emery was, if I'm honest. So let's move on quickly. Can we? I don't know what it's doing. Yep, Premier League. Premier League. So let's just quickly go through these games. Sorry.
Look at this, man.
Liverpool are home to Watford.
Yeah.
Score predictions.
Yeah, I mean, Watford just absolutely no interest in staying up or even just, I don't even know, there's absolutely nothing. I mean, Liverpool can't struggle here. You could,
and they're at Anfield as well.
and they're at Anfield, yeah, I don't know, like Watford just, I mean, what's in it for Watford? Like, just, they're just like absolutely no interest in playing football, is there? So
basically, put Liverpool players in your fantasy football league this week.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
it's going to be an interesting one.
They'll get a draw at most. They don't look like they have enough fight to win. Actually, they drew at Arsenal, and I think they drew with
Captain Mane.
Actually, did they beat Everton or
4-0
they draw at Everton?
To Liverpool, obviously.
Liverpool.
Yeah, I was going to captain Mane, but I think anyway, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. Don't you worry.
Rasmus A. No, I meant you said Olympiacos was 2-0 at Wembley. Did they play when we haven't watched the game? Yeah, they did play at Wembley. Well, not Wembley. Oh, sorry. They played at Wembley. They played at... I see what you mean there. No, they didn't play at Wembley. They played at Spurs' home ground. Sorry. But they got them 2-0. You're going to totally ignore Europa League? I wouldn't. It's just that this time, mate. We don't have time to cover like all the Europa League fixtures. We could. I probably will be doing a preview for Manchester United against AK Alkmaar, and I'll focus on that. But there's just too many teams to cover in the Europa League, and we just wouldn't be able to do both. And the Champions League is the bigger competition. Don Ragnar, Liverpool 3-0, Burnley, Geordies 1-1, and Chelsea win 1-0. Speaking of teams to Gage, Burnley, Newcastle. What's your predictions there?
I've
Burnley
got
at home.
Newcastle, you know.
Okay.
I've actually got Newcastle. I think Newcastle, like, fair play to Steve Bruce, number one. But Newcastle have this thing of they don't, even if they're down, they've got a bit of fight in them. You can tell, and it's more than just like a fight where teams don't want to get relegated, if that makes sense. They're not in a relegation battle anymore. Newcastle on the run they go, and they could finish, you know, maybe mid-table, 10th, 9th, 11th, you know, something like that. Andy Carroll's actually come back and be playing really, really well. They subbed off Joe Linton, and anytime they sub him off and get Andy Carroll in there, they seem to start doing well. And the fact is, St. Maxima got a goal the other day, so the forwards are starting to score, and that's the difference really, because it was defenders and all that scoring. John Joe Shelby looks like a great player under Brucey. Burnley have lost 2 in a row, I believe, maybe even more than that, and they're quite heavy defeats as well. So I think I've got Newcastle. Definitely. I'll probably give it I've got Newcastle goalkeeper in my fantasy football, so I want to say 2-0.
Dubravka,
solid. I'm going to go 2-0.
Solid. Okay, moving on. So I'll do this one. Chelsea at home to Bournemouth. As much as I'm fairly frustrated that Tammy Abraham messed up, I do still peg Chelsea to win this game at Stamford Bridge. They're at Stamford Bridge, but more importantly, Bournemouth have really struggled this season. It was a good assist by Pepe, by the way.
Wasn't it?
Very good assist there. But I think Bournemouth have been struggling quite a lot. Eddie Howe hasn't really got his Bournemouth team to click.
It's weird this season, isn't it?
I still think they'll stay up. I've got no doubt about that. They'll definitely stay up. Because I think Watford and probably Norwich are worse.
Well, Tyrone Mings was there last season. He's not there anymore.
He's not there, so
he's doing all right.
As at Aston Villa, but I think Bournemouth will have enough to stay up. But I don't see them getting anything from this game. I think a healthy 2-3-0 to Chelsea is reasonable. Shawnee, Leicester City versus Norwich City. This is also another fantasy football. I recommend putting Leicester players in.
Timo Pukki hat-trick. No. Leicester just in brilliant form. I think the only ones keeping up with us really is Leicester at the top of the at the second
8
with
points behind
4. Yeah, 4. No, they've got 5 wins as well, haven't they? 5 wins in a row.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, just Leicester at the minute, and it's just absolute fantastic form. And also, really nice, great to watch as well. Just brilliant to watch. Just really entertaining. Vardy on form of his life probably at the minute. Yeah.
Well, Vardy's on his way to. Well, we don't. He's getting there. You remember when he scored in how many consecutive Premier League games?
13, I think it was.
And he's got 8 now, or is it 9? It's a lot that he scored in recently.
Is it Van Nistelrooy that holds the record?
No, he holds it.
Vardy does, yeah.
Vardy does, yeah, because he beat Van Nistelrooy's record when he ironically scored against Manchester United. So
like, I don't know, for me, Vardy's one of those players, like, he doesn't seem to be bothered by, like...
Pressure.
Yeah, like, you remember that daft tweet the other day? Which was so stupid. He was saying he doesn't like foreign food. He only likes pizza and Chinese or something like that. And, but like, you can tell like someone like that isn't bothered about life too much.
He only likes pizza and Chinese takeaway.
Jeez, man.
But someone like that. And Red
Someone mentioned that on this channel actually. I think it was Don Wagner, Erasmus A. He was like, "What ridiculous tweet is that?" I was just like,
"Yeah," but someone like that obviously clearly not bothered by life. So I've captained him against Leicester, and I genuinely think that he's going to either he's going to equal it or come.
Erasmus A. Correction: they have 8 wins in a row, not just 5.
Who, Leicester?
Leicester, yes, yeah.
So is that the same?
Liverpool, isn't it? Because Liverpool drew with United.
Yeah, it did actually, yeah.
Yeah.
It is slightly more actually, yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's a tough one. What do you guys reckon?
Leicester versus Norwich?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a battering. But I think Leicester might score. I hope
Leicester are at home as well. Yeah. So, it's good. I would recommend people to put Leicester. Vardy, Maddison, Tielemans.
They don't have a weak link in their single team.
Yeah, it's a brilliant team.
And now, Brendan Rodgers got Iniacho playing well. We've not seen play well in like 5 years.
Yeah.
Remember, I had him in my fantasy football at the beginning of the season.
That's crazy.
Because I was picking him to do well, and he wasn't played.
So fair play to Brendan Rodgers and all that too. Yeah. And if Vardy gets injured, you've got a striker there now.
Yeah.
So
he
was fantastic against Villa. I watched that game.
Don Raggy, United vs Everton is an interesting one. This is Ollie's true test against Everton's new manager bounce. I think 2-2 draw. We'll come to United in a second, actually. Sheffield United versus Aston Villa. Battle of the promoted teams. Sheffield United were unlucky against Newcastle. I actually think they played quite well, but they got counter-attacked and out-fought. And Villa are also quite solid. I see this as a draw. 1-1, I think, yeah. Team Takage, Southampton at home to West Ham, especially after this result.
Well, West Ham just did us a favour there, so I probably got Southampton winning that game. Danny Ings has scored 4 consecutive games now, which is good for him. I think he was a good player at Liverpool, just obviously he's not getting it over Salah, Mane, Origi, any of them. It's just, but he's a very, very good, he'd get into a few good sides. And he's on a consecutive game streak now. So I think Southampton might peg that, you know.
Fair enough. Score prediction?
I'm going to go with 2-1 Southampton.
2-1 Southampton. Might as well say, by the way, about Watford, what do you think about appointment of Nigel Pearson? Do you think Nigel Pearson can save Watford? That is a thing. I completely forgot about that. Watford did appoint Nigel Pearson, as the new Watford manager, and he's the one obviously that brought some stability to Leicester City, and he's a solid manager. So, and you're playing them, so that might be interesting. That new manager bounce, as it were. So Liverpool this might be Liverpool's first loss of the season. Who knows?
It just they need to play football. Like they're going out there just jogging. So like something has to happen.
Fair enough. Okay, well, we'll see. But I even forgot about that. I think Peterson may actually, if obviously
after the Liverpool game.
After the Liverpool game, apparently. Well, this might be Liverpool's first loss of the season. Who knows if the manager bounce is real? Freddie seems to be delayed, but he's got it. So who knows? I'll do this one quickly. United versus Everton.
Bang them into the relegation zone.
We're going to try, but Duncan, we are at home, which is an advantage, but Dunk will know how to play against. Well, everyone knows how to play against United, and that like just defend well and counter attack. We don't like being counter attacked against, ball over the top. We find it very difficult to break teams down, and so if Everton defend well, then we will struggle. That said, I'm hoping upon hope that Pogba will be back. Which I think will give us a bit of added impetus. And I'm hoping the fact that all these players have played together and we've got all the players fit, we can at least, if we press Everton and if we play like we did against City in the first 45 minutes, but take our chances, then I don't think Everton will have a chance. But if we start slow or if we start very arrogantly, then Everton can cause us problems, So, but I'm going to be confident here and give it a 2-1 win to United at home, with Rashford and Martial again to score. Shawnee, Wolves versus Spurs.
Yeah, I'm a Wolves fan. I think they just do brilliantly. I've got Jimenez in my. I've got a couple of Wolves players in my fantasy football. Jimenez, he just looks like a brilliant player. Do you think he's going to move at some stage to a bigger club? He might.
I mean, if the money's good enough.
Yeah. So, I don't know, because at the moment Spurs have just picked it up as well. But Wolves still above Spurs. That's going to be a cracking game again. What a game that is to go and watch. It would be nice if it was on, but it's not. So I'm just going to go with a 2-2 draw. 2-2 draw because it's away as well. And Wolves just really good form. They're showing some really good fight.
Fine.
2-2. I know Mourinho's just gone in, but Wolves are very good.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Fair enough. Okay. Team Takagi 1, the big one, super Sunday, Arsenal versus Manchester City. After this result, are you confident after beating West Ham away that you could beat City at the Emirates?
Well, we only did a prediction for the other game, wasn't it? Brighton.
Yeah.
We didn't do one for West Ham. We didn't predict the West Ham game as well because it was 2 games.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I feel like it's better I don't give a prediction.
Okay. Well, because you think you'll
jinx
it. You'll jinx it.
Have been wrong.
You wouldn't jinx it.
I'm going to let you guys do that one.
Okay, so
I might predict the scorers though.
Yeah. So I personally, I don't know. I've just had a quick look at the statistics. So West Ham had more goals at goal, but they didn't score any. Where Arsenal scored all of their chances, 3 on target.
Okay.
I don't know whether that's going to be good enough against City because I still think that City's going to have a little bit better resistance than what we saw today from West Ham.
I think the key comes. You're right, and I think it's one of the issues that Arsenal have is that, and they've been having for a while, is that they concede too many chances on their goal.
Yeah.
And if they were more clinical people around, as in the case of your Brighton and stuff like that, they could be punished.
Yeah.
And City can do that. The issue I think with Arsenal, and to be fair, they did quite well here, is the defence. Can Arsenal's defence keep up? If Arsenal can organise their defence, then I think that they could hurt City. And if they play the way that United played, defend well, and hit City on the break, and press quickly, defend well, then hit City on the break, then they've got enough players in the pace in Aubameyang, Pepe, etc., especially if Xhaka and Torreira hold and defend, then they could actually beat City at Emirates. They could. If that 4-2-3-1, if they play like that, they've got a chance. But the defence have to be solid, and Torreira and Xhaka have to be on form protecting the back four. If they do that, they could beat them, because I don't think City's defence is particularly great. I think Pep's probably going to play Fernandinho as a centre-back again, because he doesn't seem to want to play Stones Ottomani together for good reason. No, Stones is not injured. It's just he doesn't... For some reason, Pep doesn't trust playing Stones and Ottomani together. So
Which isn't great for, how does your centre-backs feel?
Well,
You know what I mean?
Well, he's either play Stones, Fernandinho, Otamendi, or Fernandinho and Stones, or even Rodri was obviously playing that at one point because Fernandinho was suspended. So the fact is, City's defense is not great, and I don't think Rodri yet is really that defensive midfielder that they need.
And who was the left back?
Angelino, I think
And
it was.
he wasn't great.
Angelino is like, I think someone described him as like almost like pepperoni, like pepperoni salami, that type of stuff. So like Angelino, where's this banter guy coming from, man?
Yeah, he wasn't great.
Just a few comments. So I haven't been checking them for a while here. Talking of Pearson, he's going to call someone an ostrich. Who will it be? I've got no idea. Probably the Watford the ex-Watford manager. Ollie's default tactics are good against the big teams that has given them possession, hitting on them accounts. Ollie rarely has any single tactical influence in game. United will have to keep possession and high press. And Ollie will also have to keep Pereira well away from the game against Everton. That I agree with.
When did I say that?
Yeah.
I said Pereira's no good.
Yeah, Pereira is right now in Banter Academy Tier 3. Okay, I'm going to post Academy. In fact, those are going to be new videos coming to this channel. Academy updates. Nominate your players that are going to be in the Banter. We have Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, Banter Academy FC. Nominate your candidates to be in the Hall of Fame. We'll give out prizes for that, and then we'll talk about what we think will be in the best. What should we call the best Banter Academy for? Do you have a name? What should we call the one for the best players? The players we want in Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. What should we call it? Don't want to call it Hall of Fame. That sounds too cheesy. Something a bit more like Horseman.
God tier. Well, that's what they say in like anime.
Yeah,
and stuff,
Horseman.
God tier.
The God tier.
Yeah.
We have levels like I don't know, like what Citizen, and then like Citizen,
you
Acolytes.
you could do like chess pieces.
King, Queen.
So like pawns at the bottom and then kings and queens.
Nah, pawns sound like they should be in the Banter Academy, man. So
Oh yeah. Pawns in the Banter
Academy. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe like I don't know, like acolytes, horsemen, something like that. So they're like acolytes is like almost like disciples, like senior disciples, and things like the term. I think, yeah. Citizen.
Just to let you know, guys. Well, you probably don't know because you're all Man United fans. But Martinelli scored on his Europa League debut, his Carabao Cup debut, and his Premier League debut. I love this game.
He's a good player.
I love this game.
He's a good player.
At 18 years old, at 18 years and 174 days old, Gabriel Martinelli is the youngest player to score for Arsenal on their first Premier League start.
He's a good player. The question is, will he remain at Arsenal? This is the thing, poachers.
Better.
He wants to go to bigger clubs. Illy United, thank you for joining us so late, but thank you for coming in, man. Appreciate it. Come on, United. Andres is a terrible player. I need Will Jones to work in the park. They both should. Don, mate, I'm a United fan. I love United channels. I know, and I appreciate your support of United. You're one of the first that joined this channel, so I do really appreciate. And you always have something funny to say. In which banter division is Pep Fraudiola? I mean, as a fraud as a Pep is, he hasn't done that badly that he's going to be in banter division tier 1 or tier 3. He's still very much in I would say he's probably okay. If you've got horsemen at the top, so this is the positive kind. You've got horsemen and acolytes, and then your citizens. Okay, so so I think right now he's probably an acolyte. I would say, but he's slowly becoming a mere citizen, and if he's not careful, he might go into tier 3. But right now, I think he's an acolyte. He is an acolyte. But if we're talking about horsemen right now, horsemen. Top right now, we're talking obviously Messi's a horseman. I would argue Sadio Mane is a horseman right now. So those are the type of players. Mbappe, for example, would be for me an acolyte in terms of manager. I don't think he's quite horseman material yet.
He's very young, isn't he? Yeah.
So I don't think he's quite there yet. So you have to be a specific type of pedigree of player to be a horseman. We won't use God tier here, on this one. So horseman is the highest that you can get, but you can rank individual horsemen. So horseman number 1 could be Messi, for example. Horseman number 2, and so on. So I'll be posting some videos on. We'll do our academy updates, but nominate your players who you think should be in the Horseman Academy and Acolyte academies and the Banter Tier 1 and Tier 3 academies. I'll be posting those posting regular blog posts on Patreon as well. So for those who are watching, if you want to support this channel, click the Patreon link in the description and get regular stuff from this channel, merchandise videos and all the rest of it. Anyway, almost done. So what do we predict for Arsenal City, by the way? What do we predict?
Wait. Oh, yeah.
That was up to you guys.
You didn't want to say.
I'm going to give it to City still.
Yeah,
I think 2-1 to City, though.
That's fair.
Right.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair, yeah.
But at the same time, I do want Arsenal to kind of win because...
Oh, I want Arsenal to win.
But not even for the league, but I think even from a top 4 point of view, I think if Arsenal beat City, then suddenly the top 4 race gets...
really tight.
There's a lot more at stake here, So we'll see. I mean, form: Liverpool, Leicester, Chelsea, Wolves, Newcastle, City United.
Incredible.
Wow, the fact that Newcastle are top for form, and they are very good form.
Yeah.
Very good form. Last game, Crystal Palace at home to Brighton. Team Takagi, give us a score here for this one.
That's a daily match, isn't it? That's just like that's going to be boring to watch. That's going to be very boring. I just feel it. Obviously, Brighton got a draw against Arsenal. That was their last game.
What do you mean Brighton got a draw? They beat Arsenal.
Oh yeah.
That's enough out of you, old man.
Exactly. Yeah, I think
Arsenal are glad that they won this game because they were about to be inducted into at least Tier 3.
Yeah.
Right now, they're... Actually, no, Arsenal's still Tier 3.
I believe you asked me a question, old man G.
So they're in Tier 3 right now, actually.
So
they need to get back into citizenship still. So go on, Team Takagi one.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a draw, I generally think it's going to be a 0-0 draw. Like Crystal Palace, they don't really play that exciting football. They just kind of, they defend well, and that's it really, Brighton score most of their goals from their defenders. Although Mopé, is it Mopé? Is that his name? Mopé, he scored against Arsenal.
Yeah, we'll call him that for now.
Yeah. He kind of looks like I know we're doing a fantasy thingies later, but he's a bit of a dark horse if you look for a cheap
yes, true.
player, maybe for a bench or something like that.
That's true.
But yeah, so I'm going 0-0 on that one.
Fair enough. 0-0. Okay.
0-0. Snooze first.
Just before we finish the stream here, Rasmus said Messi, the GOAT, is surely the horse number 1. It's fair enough. Right now, current playing, yeah, I'd say currently he is Messi's horseman number 1. I would definitely agree with that. Crystal Palace Brighton is a big rivalry, isn't it? Is it? Crystal Palace Brighton.
How's that? Brighton's on the coast, isn't he?
But there might be something to it. I think he might have a point. There might be something to it from history, but I'm not sure. Let me know, Rasmus A. I think Palace won, Brighton won, Ilya. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So top fantasy football picks, top 3 picks, and then we're gonna have to end the stream, guys. Team Takagi, top 3 picks, fantasy football picks.
So I am gonna go with Jamie Vardy, number 1. I'm also going to go with Danny Ings. Who's Southampton playing again?
Southampton are playing at home to West Ham.
Yeah, so Danny Ings. And I'm going for my cheap player. I'm actually going to go with Martinelli. Not just because he's on my bench, but I just think someone was saying on Twitter, Lacazette, as much as a great player he is, like, I think this 4-2-3-1 suits these type of players better.
So you think Lacazette will leave now?
I think Lacazette's going to have to be happy playing from the bench, genuinely. And whether he's going to be happy with that is
Yeah, he was top scorer in the French league, wasn't he? Which is, I mean, it still deserves like a more. Like, you can't have Lacazette on the bench. How old is he now? Is he like approaching his 30s?
Probably, yeah.
So he might be happy.
He might be happy on him. You know, like obviously it depends. Like if you have a manager who's, you know, he's obviously going to get minutes. Just it's going to be from the bench.
Europa League.
And you know, I think they're going to also rotate during this Christmas period anyway, so it's not going to be too bad for now. But I think this.
Well, are they? Because given that you've seen this result, it's the thing about managing. It's about form. Is that when you get a good team. When you get good form, when you get around results, you don't want to rotate your team. You don't want to rotate
and Lacazette also gets injured a lot. That's a lot I've noticed. So. But we'll see. But those are my picks, my three.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with an obscure one. I've put Chamberlain back into my team just because he's picking it up.
Okay.
Brilliant Champions League goal when he first came back. That was his first game back. Just on the outside of his boot, hitting the crossbar and just underneath the crossbar. Picking it up in the Premiership now. Klopp's starting to play him a little bit more. At the least, coming on as a sub, and just he's massive influence. So Ox has replaced Pulisic.
Okay.
Out of all the people, even though I still think he's an absolute fantastic player. Tielemans has been in my team right from the beginning. I just have a feeling that he's gonna blow up at some stage. And he's just going to start banging goals in. So I'll keep him in there and Jimenez there. I mean, amongst all the other players, like, keep your Vardys and your Abrahams and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But they're the ones that I'm sort of saying I think they're going to start doing well. They're because Norwich and Watford are Liverpool and Leicester's rivals, and then you've got like Son. Is going to be playing up against Wolves, so you get put your Tottenham players in there.
Is Johnny Evans better than Maguire? He's doing it for Leicester.
No, Johnny Evans isn't better than Maguire. That's saying stuff like that.
So no, according to Team Takagi 1, he's not. So I think he's just got a better coach. That's why he's got a better coach. But
that beast, that Turkish beast.
Yeah, and he's next to it. He's got next to a Turkish beast. So, Soyuncu is. So it's also who's with him as well. So because I think if he was with, Hoof or Morgan,
too slow. Like Johnny Evans relatively slow. Too slow defenders. Yeah.
So I think it's also about who he played with. But he's solid enough though.
Yeah.
We're gonna say So my top three. I mean, obviously. If you're going to put in any players, you need to put in at least 3 players for Liverpool and Leicester because I think Liverpool will batter Watford. Possibly, although if Watford don't get a managerial boost from this, then they're going down anyway. Let's be frank.
Yeah.
And Leicester will probably take Norwich to the sword. So I think you need to. So from that point of view, I would say it's probably a good shout to probably have Maddison in your team, who's been quite well from a Leicester point of view. From a Liverpool point of view, if you don't have Mane in, I'm sure most of you have Mane in. So I would probably get I'm thinking of putting a Liverpool defender, so like a Robertson or a Trent Alexander-Arnold should come into your squad. So a Maddison or a Arnold, I think is a good shout. So make sure they're there. And then for my wild card, and I always think it's good to throw in a wild card here just in case people will consider other options. And looking at it, what's my wild card gonna be? I would say, and I know this is maybe John Joe Shelby. Newcastle away to Burnley.
That's what I said to you. Yeah,
Newcastle into Shelby.
You got him in.
I had him in for a week now.
Filthy animal.
John Joe.
John Joe.
Burnley, I mean, it's going to be tough, and I think Sean Dyche will know how to defend because, I mean, Newcastle defense. It might just end up being just a very boring game. I won't be surprised it was, but if there's one player that will unlock that Burnley defense, it's John Joe Shelby, and he knows how to score from outside the box.
He does,
which will cause Burnley problems. And Burnley's form has been atrocious, and Newcastle's form has been the opposite.
Yeah.
So there you go. Anyway, last comments before we end the stream. Anyone have any questions? Anyone have any questions? Ask the panel. If you don't have any questions, we'll end the stream. But if you have any questions you want to ask the panel, Team Takagi 1, myself, or Shawnee, let me know, and then we'll end the stream. Ilya says, Sinone Shoei is the beast. Don Ragnar says, Maguire should have his head Maguire should shave his head to look like the guy from Despicable Me. Fair enough. Sinocchi is excellent. How do Leicester find these players? Because they have a good scouting network. That's why. They have a good board. They have a good director of football. And United have none of these things. So neither do Arsenal to matter. No, I don't think they have it for a while. But yeah, I think we're probably going to end the stream here. Thanks again for everyone who's watching, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter, We're Nice X. Have a nice evening. And cheers.